Oh! It's the One Punch Man training. 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, and a 10-kilometer run. Okay. It's gonna end. Alright, solo leveling episode 4. I'm really curious to see how the start of this episode is going to pan out. The way the cliffhanger left off kind of gives me the impression that someone's going to jump in and save Jinwoo. But I believe we're under the impression that it's just Jinwoo here. That's just how I'm feeling about the situation. But maybe it's more of a character defining moment for Jinwoo, maybe showing how much he's progressed up to this point with the leveling system he now has with him. But we'll see. I think either way, this is going to be maybe an eye-opening thing to Jinwoo. He's already gone into this situation pretty naively, you know, not accounting for the possibility that he'd get locked in here, going by himself with no healer, just relying purely on all the extra points that he's put into his strength and no other attributes. So we'll see what happens here. I'm really excited to get into it. But just before I get into the episode here, if you guys enjoyed these videos, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel if you want to see more videos like this. And if you feel like supporting the channel just a little bit more, there's a link to my Patreon down below. But with all that being said, it's time for Solo Leveling episode 4. Steel-Fanged Lycan, that's a dope name. Okay, is this literally where we left off? But yeah? Okay, Jinwoo. Hey, look at my man here. I think he surprised himself with that. Okay, sick. So he did get out of it. That was a good cliffhanger then. Come on now. Oh, with the... He just punched it. Dang. Okay, nice. Come on, Jinwoo. Oh, this is sick. Now he can actually keep up. At least he's not getting hit. But if he's not doing damage, how does he win? Now that was good. That was good. Play the bass line again. Oh! Yo! That's sick! He just had this on him? Nah, that pleases me. I didn't even account for that as a possibility. Are we good? You can't lose it. Nice. Yeah, this ain't nothing. Yeah, yeah. Always goes back to the statues, man. And that one's gonna run away. Okay, cool, cool. Again, not how I expected this to go, but that's exactly what I want. I don't want to know what's gonna happen. Oh, nice, you leveled up. You're getting experience points, man. Yeah. I see. Perfect. See, everything's going up from 10 to 11. I still love this concept so much. See, now that he's felt the benefits of strength, he might continue to put points in strength. That's gotta feel really good though. Nice. Bro, it's so good. You beat the monsters, you get the items. And you can just pull them out of the inventory, that's so cool. Right, separate from the gates. You can sell the Lycan Fang? Nice. Bro, it's so cool. It's all just voice activated. Does he get his own shop, like separate from like the real world? That's really cool. Can he just put the sword back in the inventory? Might find out later. He might need to use the sword more. Right, so he's realized that maybe... Oh, is he gonna stay here and train? Or come back? Find the teleportation stone and come back? Oh, is he? There's no way. That would be tempting though. Imagine all the experience he'd get from that. True. He's gonna do it. Oh my god. It's gonna cut, I reckon. No? Okay. He's actually going for it. This is a mindset difference, man. He said I shouldn't be afraid. I've beaten one before. I know what dying's like. Are we getting cocky now? Bro, after all he's just dealt with, like, just dealing with being weak, this has got to feel so good. Yeah. Oh, now he's getting into it. This could lead to overconfidence though, but it's really cool. Yeah, look at him. He's leveling up so much. Bro. Wolf Assassin. Oh, I love it so much. This makes me want to play like an MMORPG now. Bro has done it. So what level is he now? Find the teleportation stone. That's all the stuff he got. That's a lot of money then. Daggers, cloak. I'm gonna keep saying it, man. I don't care. I love it. He got the stone. Okay, so now he can leave. I feel like we've already gotten greedy enough, so I think we should leave now. But he might get offered more temptation. True. Maybe if he leaves, he can't come back. Yeah. See, now he's accounting for all possibilities. That's good. That's growth. He just leveled up so much. This might be the only chance he gets to fight the boss. I think the right decision here is to go back. But I'm not an anime protagonist. Is he going on? Bro. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Is Ju here? Okay, that was a dungeon break. I did want to pause very briefly because I forgot to talk about last episode. I was so caught up in Juhi going to see Jinwoo and then realizing he's out there training and then she left that I didn't even mention the fact that Jinwoo hasn't even thought about Juhi since he's been obsessed with training. That's all he can think about. So he hasn't gone to see Juhi either, which I think is like, he's getting so obsessed with the whole leveling up thing. So I think that'll be something that gets addressed. But I was wondering if Jinwoo's dungeon had something to do with this gate. And when it was flashing just before, I thought that might mean it was breaking. But I believe that's only after a week, right? And I feel like if it had been a week, there'd be more urgency around it. So there might be some connection here. Let's find out. Oh, they have been dealing with it. Okay, they need you here. Oh. I wonder like what rank hunter he'd be now. He'd definitely be getting up there. Maybe like B? Oh, I see. Oh, that's cool. White, orange, red. Okay. And now they're white because, yeah. That's cool. Damn, he can tell. His perception's gone up, yeah, just by leveling up. That's so ominous. Level 15. Okay. Make a good decision here, Jinwoo. Come on. I don't know, man. Curiosity, man. I get it. Oh, that's kind of cool. Water over the train tracks. There's a really cool aesthetic, this room. All the growth on the walls. Oh no. Here we go. Oh my god. Was that his sword broken? Did I see that? Yeah, okay, we're in trouble. I know he got some worn daggers though. What is it? I want to see what it is. Oh my god. It's a massive snake. Orange. Okay, it's not red. It's not red. Does that mean they're on equal footing? Is that what that meant? Okay, how do we deal with the situation then? Teleportation stone? Do we just get out? No. At least he's going for it, man. At least he's going for it. Gathering information. The sword doesn't work, and he can dodge. It did not throw the train at him, man. Well, you've gotten stronger, man, but maybe in this instance it's not enough. Ah, see, this is his driving force. Are we cutting away? What's happening? Yeah. So it did really affect him. But he took it in his stride. Of course it would affect him. Nice, that's big. Is that Kim or Song? I might be getting characters wrong, I'm sorry. Ooh, man, that's tough. What can he do here? What can he do? What can he pull out? I don't know how he's enduring all of this, by the way. Yeah, here we go. Come on, Jinwoo. Use it. Use it as motivation. It's a cool shot. It's all about strength. It's all about strength. Yeah, these are all the other traits, but strength. That's a big statement. I'm just gonna be strong. There's a lot to unpack there, I think. Come on, Jinwoo, what are we doing? He's still getting thrown around, though. He's not gonna give up, though. It doesn't look like he's injured, though. He's getting thrown around, but not injured. What that? Okay, what are we doing? Is this an ability or something? Two hands? Yeah, this ain't nothing, man. This is doable. Oh, the music, man. This is a good scene. No sword? Hello? No shot. It's just sheer willpower, man. Look at these shots, man. Ooh, that's my first set of chills from this show. Let's go. He said, I don't need this damn sword. I'm just strong like that. How much experience you get from that? Yep, you get multiple levels. I'm not gonna lie, I'm worried about his character, but this is sick. I guess I've gotten a bit stronger as he sits on the corpse of this massive snake. I like how he ends up fighting with, oh, that is so cool. I like how it's daggers, man. He had a dagger, the sword became a dagger, and now he's got this. C rank? Wow. Effects. So cool. Oh. Okay, interesting. I'll go back and read that to its original state. So now the train will go back to normal. Sorry, the train station. Sick. Wow. My man, I loved that. I loved that. Okay, now I'm curious about this Juhi dungeon break situation. Yeah, he doesn't know about the break. Is he gonna go and deal with it? They're gonna need him. This might be where he sees Juhi. I don't think it was a highly ranked gate though, right? There's one big one left. It's time for Jinwoo. Let's go. That's so cool. Bro, Jinwoo is for sure rocking up and taking this thing down in front of everyone. There he is in the back. Dude, he notices everything. Yeah, they're not high rank. I wonder, what rank is Jinwoo now? It's Juhi. Dude, she's still so shook though. Now here we go, she's doing it. Person kind of looks like Song Yi. Oh, yeah, no, she can't. She's traumatized. You're stronger than D rank. Yeah, this would be easy for him. Come on, let him know. I don't want to get cliffhanged again. I want to see this. Come on now. Help him out. Oh, he's gonna throw it? That's all he does to help them? Dude, he didn't jump in and be the hero. That's sick. Now, do they realize that Jinwoo's the one that did that? Or is he flying under the radar? That's very interesting. And it was one person. So this is the guy that found Jinwoo. And he's gone already. Oh, bro, there's a lot to unpack here. Look at it. Look at his forearms, man. Hey. This is a different Jinwoo, man. Maybe he's underestimating his own strength. Oh, she saw him. Oh, dude, they're really drawing things out. Yeah, that's it. Okay. There is so much more to unpack in these early episodes than I was anticipating, but that's good. I love having things to talk about. Fantastic episode. I think that was the best one yet. All right, there might be a lot of new things in this discussion for me in terms of trying to analyze Jinwoo's character and maybe where he is heading, because that's not something I feel like I've typically done. I spend a lot of time talking about plot points and you know, story sort of things, but in terms of specific character traits and whatnot, this might be new to me, but let's see how we go. Okay, so I don't need to spend too much time on Jinwoo facing these steel-fanged lichens, I think. One of the things I did want to come back was the whole sword situation that he pulled out, and he said, I think the implication was that it's Kim's sword. Did it maybe end up in his inventory? Maybe Kim lost it in the fight in the room with the statues, and the system has put it in his inventory. Maybe it's been there the whole time, and he wasn't sure about using it or not, but he says, because this is an emergency, I'm going to use it. But I think it's so cool how he just says inventory and it pops up, and he can just pull the sword out of the inventory like that. That was really cool. I want to see a lot more of that kind of stuff. But another good cliffhanger from last episode, I really wasn't sure what was going to happen. It was different at the end of last episode, right? Like you really thought like Jinwoo was in trouble, but Jinwoo was able to move out of the way, very athletic. So the points he's put into strength already paying off, means he can jump around a lot more, and that's without like adding points into I don't know if agility is one of the attributes he can put there, but imagine if he leveled that up as well, he'd be able to move around so much more. I'm sorry about the crows outside if they're making noise. I cannot close my window, it is broken, and they love to hang around at this time of day, so I apologize about that. And I thought it was really cool as well how when his dagger broke, he realized, look, I'm still strong enough, I know I can take these things, and he uses his fist, like he's like, I've got strength now. And whilst his punches weren't doing damage, he was able to at least fend off the lichens. So that was cool, already showing some development, you know, not backing down. He was uncertain about the goblins, let alone these massive lichens. And then he did level up, and that increased all of his attributes. So they were all at 10 last episode, right? And he's leveled up, they've all gone up to 11. And it seemed to heal him as well. I'm not sure if that's just him leveling up so his HP increased, or if it just completely heals him every time he levels up. But again, they're just taking so many of these classic MMORPG concepts that I'm sure a lot of us are really familiar with and just incorporating them in such a cool way. It just makes me very happy. Okay, I've got a really good look at the attributes now, so we can actually spend some time on that. So strength obviously is the trait that Jinwoo's pouring all of his points into. That's his big thing. It's all about being strong. Doesn't matter about being kind or smart or intelligent. It's just strength. And we'll get to more of that later on in his massive fight with that snake. And then we do have agility and perception, and there was a lot of emphasis on his perception trait going up just by virtue of him leveling up. Obviously, this is intelligence, the brain symbol. The word that comes to mind when I see this heart with the lightning bolt through it is vitality, which is like energy kind of stuff, right? Like how much energy you have. Interesting. I want to know more about that. That's probably the one I'm the least familiar with, but I'm going to keep harping on about this whole, you know, balance these things out, right? Even though everything is increasing as he's leveling up, and it's a big value of Jinwoo to be strong. Like we know that's going to come into play at some point, the lack of balancing out the abilities appropriately, perhaps. Or on the other hand, you got to stay open-minded, right? Maybe strength is the thing that matters, right? Being strong. Jinwoo's been weak. He hasn't been able to do anything. Now that he's strong, he can. But I imagine he's going to be faced with some sort of challenge where the amount of strength he has doesn't matter, and he might need to be smarter or more agile or more perceptive. We'll see. And instead of getting the essence stones, which I believe is what that thing was that he got from the dungeon before they went into the room with the statues and eventually gave to Juhi, he gets items. And I think that's the difference between the dungeon that he's in and the gates, and I believe he did mention something about that, you know, the dungeons being different from the gates and the monsters and whatnot that you'll find within them. So he gets all these lichen fangs that he can sell, and he gets like worn daggers and stuff. And the store as well is really interesting. So he can't buy anything at his current level at this point, which is level 2. I think he was level 15 before the snake, so maybe afterwards he'll be closer to 20. But he can sell stuff as well. And I was saying, like, is this store going to be different to what he can buy? Like in the real world, is he going to have have access to stuff. He can only get, you know, maybe this dungeon system specific things as opposed to the gates and whatnot. But I do love the fact that they spent a lot of time in Jinwoo's head with him actually considering a lot of possibilities. So he came into the dungeon last episode and he was considering options, right? He was like, look, I'll be able to leave, right? I can leave if things get too tough. But he didn't account for the possibility that he won't be able to leave. And I would like to think that this is some growth already, or maybe it's to do with his intelligence and perception leveling up, that he's starting to go, okay, look, I just defeated these 2 Lycans. If I go on, will I be able to defeat the boss? At this point, I don't think so. If I get the teleportation stone, I can just leave. But if I leave, maybe I'll never be able to come back. Maybe I'll miss out on an opportunity to level up, get more items, be able to buy and sell more things, and maybe even have a go at the boss. And when he's faced with the massive horde of Lycans that come up before him, which when they all appear before him, they all still have red names, right? Meaning they're stronger than him. And I don't think he understood that at that specific moment in time. I think it was after he defeated them, when the names turned from red to white, that he realized, right, now that the names are white, it means I can easily defeat them. But he says, I shouldn't be afraid. I already know what dying is like. And I said during the episode, that's like a mindset difference. He's thinking, I've already defeated 2 of them. I've pretty much already died in the room with the giant statues. I know that I can go in there, and I've just leveled up as well. I know that I can go in there, you know, and give it my best shot. That was not a pun on the opening, by the way. That is literally the words that just came into my head. But he goes at them and he takes a few down and he's standing there and he's kind of getting into it, you know? He's like, I'm not going to go down easy. I don't think you guys are either, but I'd feel guilty if I killed you too fast. And that's a classic trait of someone who's really into a fight. Like, come on, let's really duke it out. Let's really get invested in this. And that's when I started thinking about his character a little bit. I'm like, okay, this is classic. He's got a bit of strength, a bit of power. Is he going to go crazy with it? It's like he leveled up. He got a little taste of what that's like. He was given the opportunity to fight all these Lycans, level up even further, and he took it and he got really into it. Some very quick flashbacks to when he was working on that construction site before he became a hunter, and then them saying you qualify to become a hunter and he can afford mom's treatment, and then a little flash of in the statue room. He says, let's fight and let's make it intense. And he's got this smile on his face. It's a lot. It's really a lot. And he defeats all the Lycans and it's really cool. He's really invested in it. He's saying some pretty hype things and he gets the title Wolf Assassin. You can see all the level ups happening in the background as he's defeating each one. So he gets 13 levels from that, right? Up to level 15. And then we flash back to the gate that opened up last episode. And it's starting to flash and whatnot. There's a guy standing guard and they do allude to later on that there was a break within this dungeon. They sent as many people as they could in. It's not a very high rank dungeon. I think it was D, and that made me think there was some connection to what Jinwoo was doing in his dungeon and the gate, but I don't think that's the case. I think they were just setting up what happened later on in the episode. Cut back and Jinwoo's defeated all the Lycans. His sword is starting to break away, and again he's thinking about all the options. He's like, this might be a good stopping point. You know, I've already pushed my luck. I've got to level 15. This could be a good time to cut my losses and go back. Checks his inventory. He's got a whole bunch of stuff and the teleportation stone. So once again, he's presented with an option. Do I take the teleportation stone and go back? But if I go back, what happens to this dungeon? He's like, I don't know. I might never get an opportunity to level up like this again. But the thing that's good is he's considering his options. He's like, I should go back, or do I go on and potentially find more ways to level up? And he chooses to go on, right? Which we knew was gonna happen, right? Like, is the safe thing to go back? Probably, but this is a freaking anime. Of course he's gonna go on like this. And then we flash to Juhi, and that's when I talked about, you know, the thing I forgot to talk about last episode, that Jinwoo's barely thought about Juhi or going to see her or whatnot, but he has been obsessed with this whole leveling up and getting stronger thing. It's a big thing for his character. So Juhi's getting called up about the dungeon break. They need a healer, right? She's still very shaken up. She doesn't want to get involved, but they're at a point where they're desperate. She's a B rank healer. This is a D rank situation, so she's going to be very useful there. And they were setting up Jinwoo rocking up to this situation where Juhi was as well later on. So back in the dungeon, Jinwoo's making his way through and he's standing in front of the stairs and he says thanks to his perception ability being so much higher from all the levels he's gained, he can tell that down there, whatever the boss is, pretty much it's out of his league right now. Like, it's giving him goosebumps. He's looking at the situation. He's like, I don't think I can gain much more from staying up in this area. My sword's about to break. But curiosity gets the best of him. Maybe it's his newfound confidence in all the strength he's achieved. Maybe he's even feeling like, I've come this far maybe I'll just go check it out and maybe I can use the teleportation stone if things get too tough. But he goes down the stairs, really cool aesthetic underneath in the actual train station. All of the growth over the floors and the walls, it's dark, there's water over the train tracks. I really like this kind of vibe. But the monster comes out from the water and immediately he's faced with the severity of the situation, right? Immediately this thing is incredibly fast, incredibly strong, and you're thinking, okay, maybe he's finally bit off more than he can chew. So the name comes up in orange, the King of the Swamp, Blue Venom-Fanged Kasaka. Really cool design on this monster, and I believe orange means it's a good match for him to fight, right? But still challenging enough as we see as the fight progresses. But Jinwoo goes for it, right? His sword instantly breaks, so now he's left, and I did mention this, he's left with pretty much another dagger, right? He started off with a dagger at the beginning of the show, and now what's left of his sword is pretty much a dagger, and he gets that sick dagger at the end of this fight as well. But he goes for it. He realizes he can't really break this thing's armor with his sword. It's really fast. If he takes a proper full-on blow from it, it's going to do a lot of damage, but he's not really taking a lot of damage. He's getting thrown around a lot, he's getting hit a lot, but he must be doing just enough to block the blows to not take an incredible amount of damage. And now we really start to get more of an insight into Jinwoo's character. We know he was like, you know, the laughing stock, the weakest hunter, and early on in the show he seemed to just take it in his stride. He's like, it is what it is, I'm still going to keep trying to be a hunter, I need to pay for my mom's treatment. But finally, after this massive snake has been knocking him around for too long, he says, how much stronger do I need to get before it makes up for a life spent being a laughing stock? And you have to forgive me, I don't know exactly who this is in this flashback that pretty much tells Jinwoo, you know, work hard to prove them wrong, which is really cool. I think it's Song, I could be wrong. Kim is the only other name that I can remember, please correct me on that. And he's still getting slammed around and he's saying like, look, I am ashamed of myself, of how weak I am. And here comes the big strength speech, right? Strength is the only thing that matters. Him being weak is why he was a laughing stock. Him being weak is why he hasn't been able to do so much. You can be knowledgeable, you can be creative, you can be considerate, but strength, if you go into a situation with a lot of strength, you are always at an advantage. And I can imagine not everyone thinks this way. It's very specific to Jinwoo because he has been the weakest. Like, he is the weakest. Like, he had a 10 on that reading last episode. So every situation he's been in, he feels like if he was stronger, he'd be able to do more. And probably one of my favorite shots of this episode, and maybe the whole show so far, he stands up and he's like glowing, his eyes and his hair, and he's like, I've gotta get stronger. And I was like, is this like an ability happening or something? Like we saw last episode that he has like passives and active abilities. And I think one of them was willpower, right? So maybe that's what's happening here. And I was saying during the episode, this is just pure willpower. That's really interesting. And he's comparing this snake to the statue god. And he's saying, compared to what I felt in front of that thing, this is nothing. I was so afraid of that thing, I pretty much died. This thing, I know I can take this thing. He loses his dagger and he's just grabbing onto this thing with his arms, and he says, I focus specifically on increasing my strength. So he uses his strength, not the dagger, not with a weapon, just his strength to start breaking this thing's armor. More really cool shots, the music's coming in, the voice acting on Jinwoo's character is so good. Really epic moment, and he's just, of sheer willpower and strength, he's just squeezing this thing and breaking it. He says, I know in this moment I can kill you. Chills happen, a really cool shot. He's sitting on the corpse of this massive snake and he just says, I guess I really have gotten a bit stronger. Wow, and if that's not telling you about what kind of sights Jinwoo has set in terms of where he wants to get his strength, man, sitting on the corpse of this massive monster, this crazy battle, and he's like, yeah, I've gotten a bit stronger. He wants to get so much stronger than this. And he got the really cool looking dagger. It's called Kasaka's Venom Fang. And I love all the extra little things they put on here, like paralysis and drain, plus 25 attack. I love the dagger theme they're keeping here with Jinwoo. It's just all those little MMORPG things that are just so satisfying to see in this way. And this poison that he got as well is really interesting. He says this is way too scary to use, but he's going to keep it. Kasaka's Venom Gland, it says it'll harden your skin, but your muscles will be permanently damaged from the poison. Now, permanently damaged, I think it is bad news bears. And if it's his muscles, it probably means strength. I don't think Jinwoo's going to want to use that, but it does seem to have a specific purpose. It'll make your skin, I imagine, as hard as the actual Kasaka's armor was, right? But we'll see. Maybe he gives this to someone else. Maybe he sells it. We'll keep an eye out for that. The dungeon reverts back to normal. So this might be something that happens to Jinwoo a lot. He'll get all these keys or access to all these dungeons. He can go in, beat the boss, and it'll return back to normal. I'd be pretty keen to see a lot more of this. I love this stuff. This is the kind of stuff I was missing from Sword Art Online, so I'm really happy so far. And then we get into the ending scene of the episode. Jinwoo comes out of the gate. The soldier meets him and goes, oh, you're a hunter, come with me. We have this whole situation. There's been a dungeon break. They're using a lot of like D rank, E rank, I think, hunters to try and deal with the situation. There's all these corpses of some beasts, and there's this big like golem thing that's out there, and the hunters are doing their best to hold it off, but they're no match for it. They're just too weak. Juhi's there. She hasn't been able to do anything. One of the hunters convinces her to actually start healing, and as soon as she starts, she flashes to the image of the statue god, and she freaks out. She's just traumatized by this event, which is really sad to see. I really hope that maybe Jinwoo at some point can become maybe somewhat of a driving force to help her become a hunter again. Maybe she'll see how Jinwoo has tackled the situation, how he's getting stronger. But I really hope at some point these two can actually start to talk about their feelings about this whole situation to each other. I think that's something they might let linger for a while given how the episode ended. But Jinwoo's able to sense where the monster is immediately because of his perception, and like his eyes are glowing. I love all these little things. Now I'm thinking this whole time that, you know, he's done this whole dungeon by himself. He defeated the boss. Even if he's a bit tired after all of that, he might rock up into this situation and be like, I can do something about this. I can take care of this monster, and I can show everyone that's here how much stronger I've become and how much more useful I am now. But very much to my surprise, and I'm very happily surprised by this, he looks at the situation and goes, if they can get through their defenses, they can win. He's looking at it like, this is their battle. I'm not going to jump in, be the hero, be selfish. I'm just going to do my part to help and let these guys handle it. And he throws what's left of his sword, like that little dagger part of the sword he had, straight at the monster, breaks his defenses. It was easy. It's not something I expected. It was a really cool shot of him like throwing the sword. And the hunters realize their defenses are down, and then they take down the monster. And they're all a bit suspicious of the situation, like what happened. Like some of them saw the sword come in and break the defenses. They don't know who it was, but they're like, damn, like someone really strong potentially must have done this, right? And Jinwoo's already walking away. He's like, I've done my part. Like he didn't want the attention, maybe, I don't know, but that was really interesting that he didn't jump at that opportunity to be the hero or show how much stronger he was. He did his part to help the guys out, and then he just left. And the guy that was questioning the situation is like, was it some high-ranked hunter? And that's the question I've been asking. I think it was a D-grade monster. I feel like Jinwoo maybe could be like B or something. I don't know if he's quite A or even S yet, but he's definitely going in that direction, which is really cool. But he did notice Juhi standing there unable to do anything, and he was able to go, look, okay, so she's still really affected by the situation, but he says, I can't blame her. I am too. Even after how much stronger he's gotten, even after he's able to compare the statue god to the other monsters he's fought, he's still pretty shook up by the whole experience. So there's a lot to really think about going forward with that, how much this whole situation has affected everyone that was there. And as he's walking away, like he turns back and he goes, I didn't think a single attack would do it in. Maybe it was weakened. I feel like he's just underestimating how much stronger he is now. Like he doesn't realize how strong he is as a hunter now, which is really exciting. And right at the end, Juhi does notice Jinwoo walking away, and she's like, Jinwoo? Like you wonder if she's thinking about, she's seen him out there training. Maybe she's kind of understanding, maybe he's getting stronger. But at this point, right, to all the hunter's knowledge, people can't get stronger, right, unless they have a second awakening. So that's also something really interesting to think about going forward about Juhi. Is she kind of understanding what's happening to Jinwoo? Maybe. But that was it. That was a very long discussion. So many talking points, which is really cool. It's such a great concept in this show. They're really asking questions about the characters and whatnot, and they're not doing the obvious thing, which is really good. And it's stuff that I really appreciate, right, in terms of like Jinwoo's character, like how he's progressing, how he's thinking about things. You really start to think that Jinwoo's character is going to be vastly different to how it was at the start of the show. The stronger he gets, pretty much, right? But I hope a lot of that came across all right. Like I said, analyzing like character, behavior, and development specifically like this is something I've not done as much as analyze like fights and like themes and like plot points and whatnot. So it's really exciting to be doing something new. So I hope all of that came across all right. I think I'm going to leave this one there. That was a lot. I'm sure I'm going to have a lot more to talk about next episode after I've gone away, thought about this episode more, edited it, and had a look at it again. But thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel if you want to see more content like this. And as always, please continue to leave your comments and feedback down below. You know, I always appreciate it. We'll see you in the next episode of Solo Leveling.